All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be looking at the Pixel 7a, the replacement to the 6a. Now, I want to start where a lot of you guys might hover for way too much time is the price. I normally get into build quality and stuff first. We're going to go ahead and talk about the price. Now, the 6a comes in at $349. And often this device goes on sale. It is a device that is well loved. My skin is from SophieGuard.com, so be sure to check that out if you want to skin your device. But often this device goes on sale, and the fact of the matter is the 7a is going to start doing that too. Once it gets into its life or companies really want to move a lot of units, they'll discount that phone as well. This phone coming in at $349 right now is a huge steal. Now, Google decided to increase the price with the 7a, and this is to be expected, you know, every now and then with companies when they add a bunch of features or they make serious upgrades, they want their money back, simply put. And so this device comes in at $499. So a lot of people will try to convince you that you should not buy the Pixel 7a, and in fact, you should just go ahead and buy the 7 because the 7 is $599. Well, I disagree with those people because they're solely looking at price, and in reality, if you're just looking at price, this is the best value when it comes between the 7 and the 7a. The A lineup, in my opinion, is the better value. There's only a small amount of differences between the 7a and the 7, and the value leans more towards the 7a. People are calling this a mid-ranger. Well, you might as well call the 7 and the 7 Pro mid-rangers. They're running the same chipset, and it's just too many similarities. And I often laugh and think it's comical when people start to say this is a mid-ranger or these are mid-rangers, when they in fact have all the high-end features of Google's actual quote-unquote flagship devices. Now, with this coming in at $499, a lot of people, again, are going to tell you, oh, you shouldn't get it. You should just wait till the price drops. Folks, don't listen to those people. You do what you want to do with your funds. $499 is a killer deal. And again, I often say that, you know, when companies kind of are in a battle with themselves, this is what you're looking at with Google. I mean, this is $499. And in reality, the 7 is $599. So, you know, when the 7's on sale, it drops down to $399 a lot. Or, you know, $499. It's just, you have to catch it at the right time. But now that the 7a is out, folks, there's a lot to like about this. And I'll get into hardware and stuff in just a second, but that's the pricing on here. $499, Google priced this perfectly, I would say. $450 would have been a stretch because they did add a lot of things. Yeah, you can definitely grab this already at Best Buy for $450. That's what I did. I got it for $450 at Best Buy. I canceled my order from Google, and I knew I would have gotten the free case and the earbuds. I got a gift card from Google, from Best Buy for buying this, so I can still get the buds, the blue buds. So let's talk about hardware. Now, hardware with these, folks, these are identical in size. It's just that Google moved. They think they're slick. This is how they make money off of you. They moved the bar on the top, the camera bar down. That's what they did. That's just, to me, it's just a play, so you can't use the same accessories. And, you know, obviously it looks different, it's better looking, but it's still just a play, man, because these dimensions are identical. Identical. 6.1 inches on the display. The size of these are the same, 2.8 width, 6.0 height. I mean, it's exactly the same. Nothing different. I even put one of my 6a cases on this phone and it fit. It's just that things are in different positions, you know, so, and I know I say it's just a money play, but in reality, I know they have to move things around sometimes internally, but nonetheless, it would have been nice if it had the same dimensions exactly, and then you can use their same accessories if you want to. Nonetheless, hardware-wise, these are identical, folks. You do have a 1080p display, Full HD Plus, which is 1080 by 2400 on both of these. They're both OLED. They're both 429 pixels. They're both 20 by 9 aspect ratio. The difference is, though, with this one, you have a scratch-resistant display on here. And with this one, you don't get that. So I have a tempered glass on here. Let me unlock this here. I have a tempered glass on this one, and so you don't get that. You don't get the scratch resistant. I don't know how well the so-called scratch resistant is going to, last on here. I have no idea. But the fact is, this does have a scratch resistant display, and it's still Corning Gorilla Glass 3. So, that's nothing different. They both have always on display, at a glance, 24-bit, 16 million colors. The difference is this has a 90 hertz display, and by default, folks, it's not turned on. So you need to go in here and turn it on, and you'll go down to smooth display. It says it down there on the bottom, smooth display. That was turned off when I initially got the phone set up. It says automatically raises the refresh rate from 60 to 90 hertz. For some content, increase battery usage. And what I found is there's not much increased battery usage at all. If I'm being honest, I haven't noticed anything different in the display, in the battery yet, but I'm still in that first 24 to 48 hours. And that's what's going on with it. So if you see at the bottom here, you'll see that there's no option for smooth display down at the bottom there. So coming in with a 90 hertz display, that's another reason why you should get this device. I mean, over the 6A, it's an upgrade. And some people like that. Now, this device took a small battery hit. This has 4385 and this has 4410. So, but you're still getting 3 days of battery life with this device. And one thing that you get on this one that you don't get on the Pixel 6A is this right here. Wireless charging. They've added wireless charging to this device. Now, while it doesn't have to cost, a ton more to add wireless charging, some people will still question, back to price, they will question that. So still has an alloy frame, and it says it has visor too on this new one. But other than that, you've got IP67, and now you have 8 gigs of RAM with UFS 3.1. So I do wish that they had an option for the device to have a 256 gig version. Now here's how we're gonna have to reference price a lot because here's something that I would have done if I was with this pricing. This version with the $499 price model would actually be the 256 gig version, and then I'd have a 128 for $450. Or something like that. That would be a selling point in how they could have incorporated the 256 gig version. But as of now, the A-line has never had a 256 gig version, and I don't anticipate it having one either because Google's going to keep that money all up to the higher end. As a matter of fact, my Pixel 7 just comes up to a 256 gig. And you would think that would have an option for a 512 with this being their flagship device. Now, when it comes to storage, again, 128 across the board for both of these devices. And then obviously 8 gigs of RAM is a nice upgrade, a nice touch, gives for a much speedier device. Now, you do have the Titan M2 chip. Now, the differences with these devices, they're basically putting this in line with the 7 and the 7 Pro. And so this is why some people might say, oh, you might as well just get the 7. No. You can save money by getting the latest version, which is the 7A, because it in fact has VPN, just like the 7. The 6A does not have that option to have VPN by Google One. So I have VPN connected at all times. It does have the fingerprint reader on the display, but this also now incorporates Face Unlock. And the Face Unlock is fairly fast, and obviously the fingerprint reader is decent as well. The 6A, again, does not have the Face Unlock or VPN by Google. So those are things you need to consider. Now, all things considered, again, some people might want to bring up the Pixel 7 a lot, but in reality, the Pixel 7 has the exact same chipset. So I still don't understand why people are saying you should just get the 7. This has the Google Tensor G2. The 7 has the Google Tensor G2. Now, one thing that the 7A has over the 7 is it has a 64 megapixel camera. This has a 50 megapixel camera. Now that doesn't equate to better quality, but it's actually the replacement for this phone, which is the 6A. So 64 megapixels up from 12.2. folks, that is a steal. That is a nice upgrade. And you can see why now Google has increasing the price. They have to have some kind of comeback on here in order to keep things competitive and remain profitable. I make no excuses for Google, but often when a phone comes out, people instantly look at the price and say it's not worth it. But when you dive really deep, this phone definitely is not, and I said it at this time about the 6A. When the 6A came out, it was right in line with the 6 lineup. So how could the 6A be a mid-ranger when the 6 is pretty much the same device? And now we turn the tables to the 7A, and people are calling it a mid-ranger, but it in fact, to me, is not. It has all the features and functionality of a high-end device, and it should be given that title. Even if Google labels this as a mid-ranger, I disagree. I'm a user of all their devices, and they all perform the same, folks. If I'm being honest, they all perform the same. Now, when we come around to the cameras on the front of this thing, you get, unlock this. Let me turn off. I got this turned on. There we go. When you look at the front here, you've got a 12.2 megapixel, 12 megapixel camera on the front, which is ultra wide. And then you have a 13 megapixel on the front, which is ultra wide. So they're giving you 120 degrees field of view on this new camera and 114 on this one. They both have lens correct and things like that. So these cameras, while this does have a 64 megapixel shooter now, it still has the same characteristics of the 12 megapixel shooter. Autofocus with dual pixel phase detection, optical and electronic image stabilization. You just get a bigger field of view and hopefully better quality. I'll be testing those as well. So when it comes down to it, folks, with that long spec rundown, excuse me, this is a 8 megapixel, my bad. I need to go down. This is a 13 megapixel on the front and an 8 megapixel on the front. Sorry about that. The ultra wide is what I was looking at a minute ago. But nonetheless, when you scroll through all of this right here, you still have a plethora of phenomenal devices. A lot of you guys are going to say, well, how do they handle photos? How do they handle photos? Folks, they handle photos the same. I mean, there's nothing different about the quality. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to do this I don't know if you saw that face unlock, but wow, it is fast. So I'm going to take some photos here. And then I'm going to go to the zoom a little bit there. I mean, the quality is just, it's just so good. That is beautiful quality right there, folks. Wow. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some photos with the Pixel. Oops, let's put that over here. It's kind of, I'll show you these though, don't worry. I mean, you're getting just the same type of quality in the devices. Now, just looking at this kind of through the viewfinder here, I do see like a little bit better detail with the 7A, but I guess that's to be expected because of camera upgrades and things like that. The quality is still great on both. I'm not going to say that it's slaughtering the 6A. I'm just not going to do that. I'd have to do a very extensive test here. But in reality, let's grab something else to take a photo of real quick here. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. You know the drill. All right, so let's go ahead and do a 2x or 2 times pump in real quick here. Wow, that's just great quality. And shutter speed is beautiful on here. I mean, the processing, some people might say, oh, the processing is this and that, but you can see the processing on these as I click it and get to it. You can see they're both processing these images extremely fast. And then I think what I'm looking at here is just a little bit more detail. Again, I'm not going to tell you that these are just so much better. And what you'll notice also sometimes, depending on where it's focused at and how I focus it, you're going to get into a situation where the 6A might take better photos. I mean, the detail around the part where it says Proverbs 3:5 looks a little sharper on the 6A, but the 7A, let me brighten it up. Maybe that's like going on. Okay, yeah. The 7A has a better, the tones look really good on the 7A. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into a really heated battle when it comes to the 6A and the 7A. I think that the 7A, obviously, if your 6A, now I will say this, if your 6A still works, obviously you don't need to upgrade. But just for the purposes of having another device that's the latest from the company, a lot of people do this. They will upgrade to the next model. And it's super common amongst people. You still get everything though. You still get the cinematic pan and things like that. You get portrait lighting, you get magic eraser, but the 7A does add long exposure, something I'll never use. I mean, I'll never use that, to be honest. Now, one thing about the 7, it has some features that are just not available. You have the motion mode and you have the cinematic video, and you also have spatial audio. So with the Pixel 7 lineup, when you get into the cameras here, you'll see it has cinematic video. That is something that is not available on the 7A, and that's fine. I understand it's not available. I was hoping that it would be, but it in fact is not. You just have lens, photosphere, panorama, obviously video, you got your camera, portrait, long exposure is something that's there, and night shot. Now, video does shoot 4K 60 frames per second, and you do have the speech enhancement as well. But when you go to 60 frames per second, those options are null and void. You have to stay with 30 frames per second in order to take advantage of that. So, and now obviously, you have quick access to the time lapse and slow motion there. And then you have stability. You still have the same options here: standard, lock, active, cinematic pan. They are all there, folks. The Pixel 7A, it's here. And I feel like those who are going to question it already based on the price, I've been using it for the last 24 hours already. At the recording of this video, I will probably follow up with 72, possibly 48. I might do a 48 tomorrow. I want to see how many battery cycles I can get out of this thing. But the addition of wireless charging, and oh man, the speakers on here are absolutely great. Let me see if I can pull up something real fast here. It's kind of hard to do it over video sometimes when you're looking for things to view for samples. But the microphones will never, ever come across the way you want them to come across. It just won't happen. So let me see if I can grab something here. What has, let me see. I want to find something that has music. I don't have to find anything that has music. I'll just go ahead and play a video here. Let's get something going here. Come on. All right. Guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. I apologize right away for the windy video, but it's always over video. You'll never get the gist of this, almost a week, but it is beautiful. Speakers sound really good, and when you listen to something with music, and you also get a glimpse of the display here. Let me turn it up, see if it's go to 4K. Here we go, and let's go ahead and turn up the brightness here. The screen gets plenty bright. That is a beautiful looking display. And I'm impressed with this so far. So I think when it comes to, and this is from my car channel, that's my 23 Cadillac. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check that out. But when it comes to the comparison of the 6A and the Pixel 7A, you will catch a lot of people telling you to skip it. But it's always like that with every device, folks. You're gonna have people tell you, I wouldn't buy it, don't do it, you're wasting money, wait till it goes on sale. You're gonna have all types of stuff like this. I'm always gonna tell you, it's your funds, you do what you want to do, but in reality, you have to make a choice based on your needs and how you're gonna be using it. And like I said, if your 6A still works, hey, keep it. don't upgrade. I mean, you're getting more features, but you're getting ready to trade that in, and you might pay a little bit of extra money for it. You can get a trade in for your 6A. I mean, if you have enough for a trade in or something like that, definitely try out the 7A. I think coming from a 6A, and especially coming from a 5A or a 4A, coming from these right here, you're going to be blown away just to go to the 6A. So, you know, an upgrade is a major upgrade from these two. While I do like the hardware fingerprint reader on the back of this, I just really think the 7A is a beautiful step up from Google based on their history with this lineup right here. They've given you what you wanted. They've given you more features. They've given you more power, more RAM, better cameras, nice batteries, consistent across the board with the 6A lineup, with the A lineup. I think it's a win. Again, don't expect a stellar bump in quality from all the photos, because in reality, the 7 and the 6A and all these Pixels that are currently out, they all pretty much they're the king of photos, man. This is just how it is. They are in a battle with themselves. So it's up to you to determine, you know, which one you want to get. Do you want to save money and miss out on a few features, or do you want to go for the gold? I would say for a person who's never had a Pixel, go ahead and go straight to the 7A, because you get the best of both worlds. You get the stellar battery, you get somewhat of a high refresh rate, the middle high refresh rate, you get the great cameras, you get all the perks of this beautiful hardware. You're getting it all without spending $800 or $600. And like I said, this device will go on sale. It definitely will. It's up to you to determine if you want to pick it up now or you want to wait. There's tons of trade-ins gonna pop up, so you do your own research, and I think you'll make the right choice. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. Is this phone worth $499? Absolutely. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.